The Hallyu Wave can be this new, exciting, fun experience, but I must admit that it is missing something, and that is a sprinkle of truth. Something that your favorite Hallyu YouTubers, K-pop journalists, and media outlets cannot completely disclose. Sometimes you just need that unfiltered truth or educated opinion in a wave that's based on fantasy, and that's where you need us. The Sprinkle podcast was created by its 4 hosts who come from all different backgrounds, locations, and perspectives in the Hallyu Wave and the world. We have Alejandro, Imi, Kaylee, and Sherry that share many titles between them, from YouTuber, digital journalist, radio DJ, and many, many more. Listen to our podcast where we talk once a month to bring up some unpopular opinions, bring some other facts to light, and educate these self-proclaimed K-pop fans. We won't be too harsh, just a sprinkle. Now enjoy our pilot episode. Welcome to the Sprinkle podcast. As you guys just heard before, it's the bio of the podcast that I just read, but what we want to do is use this episode before we get into like the nitty-gritty realness that the whole point of this podcast. We just want you guys to get to know us more personally, because, before we start spewing out some stuff, you're like, who is she? That's always there. Who is this girl? Who is that boy? They always say that whenever whenever we come for your faves, that's always the, who is she? Who is da-da-da? Well, you're going to get to know us so very well in the Sprinkle podcast, and we're going to have each of us introduce ourselves one by one, what we do, where we come from, our journey with K-pop. Then we're going to share one like and one dislike in the K-pop community, or certain idols, or just, how we get treated as fans, or how we see other fans treat others or idols. We're all different, but we're all the same. That's what the point of this podcast is. So without further ado, I'm going to have probably the most shyest co-host, maybe besides myself. I'm going to have Kaylee go first. She's going to introduce herself and where she's from. And this is Kaylee, so take it away.
Hi, everyone. As Imi just told you, I'm Kaylee. I am maybe one of the shyest co-hosts here. I'm currently a sophomore at the University of Minnesota. I'm studying psychology. I run the Twitter account, and I am a writer for MacG Magazine, which is a multimedia company talking about the Hallyu platform. I actually got into K-pop in 2012 during my freshman year of high school, when this girl in my gym class, who is now my best friend of 6 years, made me listen to Quasimodo by SHINee, and the voices hit me, and I was like, oh my god, what is this? I have to know more. So then she showed me the music videos for Ring Ding Dong and Lucifer by SHINee, and then Fantastic Baby by Big Bang, and I was definitely hooked. I've never been more grateful to get into a music genre. Her and I do all things K-pop together. We go to concerts, we travel, up until I moved away. And so far, my journey with K-pop has been incredible. That kind of goes to one of my likes, which is that sense of community, at least the sense of community that used to be there with K-pop fans. It was really a niche-based genre, so it was almost instantly bonding between people who shared that interest. You kind of really became friends and would check up on each other and would make sure everybody was doing okay, because it was difficult to find people who were into that. That being said, one of the things that seems to arise in K-pop today in that community is fan elitism, which I seriously dislike. Some fans, and I'm not naming any fandoms or names in particular, seem to think that they're better than others based on the group they support or how long they've been a fan of K-pop, and that needs to get shut down quickly.
Okay, well, that was a lot, as well as just a bunch about yourself personally. One thing I want to shed light on for you personally that I think that people are going to resonate with as we go further on is that Kaylee has a series actually on MacG Magazine that I know who triggered it, but do you want to talk a little bit about what you do, like your thing in K-pop, or something that you fight for, as well as when idols show it in music videos, or they're them personally, or yourself or other fans that you've come encounter with, like that series on MacG that you write about? I just wanted to shed light to that, because that's like one of the best things about you. There's a lot, but that's one of the best.
Oh gosh, thank you. Yeah, absolutely. I am writing a health and K-pop series on MacG Magazine's website. it's something that I noticed for a while, but really it came to light when Rap Monster came out with his song Always in the very beginning of 2017. And he started his song off by saying, he woke up one morning and was just sad that he woke up. He didn't want to be there. And that really drove me to explore all of the signs that K-pop idols had given, that they're not always okay in their music, and they let us know that. And I think we as fans take that for granted, take their happiness and their smiles on stage for granted. And that was my first article was, hey, listen, idols struggle too. We need to respect them. We need to recognize that they're human beings. But I also try to focus on the fans, because when you talk to people over social media, you have to remember that there are faces, there are emotions behind those words, and who you're directing those words to. So I'm trying to focus on how K-pop can impact us and make us better, but also worsen us a little bit at times as well.
That is Kaylee. You can go check her out on A Daily Dose of Kaylee, as well as most of her social media, all of our social media, but specifically her series. I'm actually going to add a link to our description box right now. If you go look to it, go and read it. It's something for K-pop fans as well as, something for idols as well, and I really respect that she started that type of writing, and she really has a fan perspective on a lot of the things. This is one of her first times being on a platform like this, being her own, co-host of something, like we have Sherry on here who has her own website. We have Alejandra on here who's a YouTuber, myself who's a radio DJ, but it is good to have all these different perspectives, because then you have people that like to come at certain people on these platforms, seeing them as, oh, you're a YouTuber, you're this, or oh, you're a writer. Of course, you have to exaggerate things, or oh, you're a radio DJ personality. You have to make things bigger than they are, and that's not always the truth. And that's why I really wanted Kaylee to be a co-host with the rest of us, because you have to have all perspectives when you're talking about something, and it may be like from a fan's point or a writer's point. Sometimes you need all directions to maybe you as a fan or you that's pursuing something, music, or if your own music has to see all points of something that may be wrong or may be correct or maybe just strictly business. So that's why Kaylee is on here, and we're going to roll over to someone that actually gets a lot of targeting on her website, and I respect how she fought it and came with the facts, and she's someone that really has the mindset of a writer as well as a European K-pop fan's mindset, and I respected that. So we're gonna head on over to Sherry, who is, I'm over here saying where everyone's from. Go ahead, Sherry, take it away.
Hi, so I'm Shari. I'm from the UK, England specifically. So I run my own website, Insoluble, solely by myself. I've been online for just over a year now. Yeah, that's right. So previously, I'd written for other people and so forth, but I just wanted to do things my way, on my terms. I don't want to be filtered. So a little bit of background information. So I only got into K-pop, let's say late 2012. But before that, 2 years ago when I was at university, one of my flatmates actually had a friend visiting from home, and she ran into my room, this random girl, and was like, oh, hey, my name's Sarah. Do you know what K-pop is? And I was like, no, I don't even know who you are. So she actually showed me Beast, Bad Girl, and that was the first K-pop video I'd ever seen. And my first initial thought was like, what is this? I don't understand it. And I thought it was really weird. And then let's say fast forward to 2 years from 2010 to 2012, Gangnam Style just came out, and that was the only K-pop I really heard around that time. And then like YouTube gives you like the watch next or suggested videos. So I was just scrolling through YouTube and I see a group called Big Bang, and it was Bad Boy, and literally I started watching it and automatically I was hooked, and I was thinking, oh my god, like, does anyone else listen to this stuff outside of Korea? And I actually started to realize that other people were interested, because I went to see Watsky and Dumbfounded, I don't know if you guys have heard of them, the LA rappers, in London in 2012, and I had a spare ticket and I was trying to sell it to someone online, so randomly sold it online, went to meet this girl, and then I'm in the queue in the line for the show, and I just hear Big Bang, and I'm like, do you guys listen to K-pop? And they're like, yeah, and I'm just like, oh my god. And that moment when you meet someone else who listens to K-pop and you automatically become friends, and that's how it started. So then I started to get into contact with other people, exchange contact details, started to go to like a lot of K-pop events in London, that kind of thing. But I always found that I was a bit older than everyone, just because at that point I was like mid-20s, so I was working full time. Everyone was still a bit younger, so I was like kind of still detached and not as involved, so I kind of had to binge watch a lot of stuff. Yeah, so I never really fully got immersed into it. I know everyone kind of has that phase where they're like deep, but I never had time to be deep. 2016 I started writing for a website that I no longer write for, and at my job someone approached me and was like, oh, that girl over there listens to K-pop, because people at my job kind of knew that I was the weird girl who listened to K-pop, because I really was only focusing on like Big Bang, SHINee, and I kind of thought K-pop's not really for me. So yeah, I've actually met a lot of people, a lot of doors have opened, so that's one of the things that I like as well. The same thing that Kaylee said, where it's a community thing and you meet loads of people, but in terms of my own personal progression, especially with my own site, it's opened a lot of doors. I get press, I meet people, I've made a lot of good friends just like by volunteering and stuff. So yeah, that's definitely a plus for me. But one thing I find that really irritates me that I don't like is, I feel like some fans feel like they have this entitlement, especially like fan bases of like particular countries. So let's say, for example, you have, just an example, I'm not pinpointing this particular group. Let's say you've got Monster X France or Monster X whoever, they feel that when it comes to events or stuff like that, they can tell people what to do. And moving away from fan bases, certain fans just feel like they have entitlement to know everything about this artist. If they're dating, they shouldn't be dating. I actually know someone personally, I'm not going to name names, who is no longer a fan of EXO or Kai because Kai lied about dating Crystal, like stuff like that, just like the nitty gritty stuff. And I just think it's an endless cycle where the fans feel entitled because, okay, I'm the boss of the fan cafe. And then you've got that endless cycle of, okay, well, now I'm in charge. I can do this. I can do that. I expect this of you. Then a scandal will happen. Well, let's say scandal, quote unquote scandal, where it's not even that big. Oh, I'm really sorry that I'm dating. I will reflect, blah, blah, blah. Because of this apologizing for being a human being, it's the cycle of, they expect me to apologize. Now I've got to tell them every single detail of my life. Now they feel they can do what they like. That's what I don't like about it. I could go on about it for ages, but we'll be here all day. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm more into, I like K-pop, but I'm into the behind the scenes stuff as well, which is why I try and get, fans involved and do some interviews and stuff when I'm doing my articles, because I like to look at a lot more behind what's going on behind the scenes, as well as a bit of culture here and there. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Amy, is there anything that you think I've missed out about myself, or?
I don't think so. I just wanted to say that Sherry's also on here because, as she said before, she's been to Korea multiple times. She's seen the behind the scenes stuff. She's someone that is an independent writer, and when you are an independent writer, like for your own website, not just a freelancer, because there's clearly a difference, or like you're not a set writer at a specific company, there's more chances for people to like say that you're wrong or say that your information is false, because you want to be that first person to, break the news, even if it's not true, if it is, because you want to get the most likes and hits and stuff. But what Sherry does, and I've experienced this personally, because she's messaged me about certain things or like sent me screenshots about stuff that people say about her writing, and a lot of people tend to like attack first and not do their research in general. They just see who it's about and they go and tend to attack. But Sherry's someone that will literally if she writes an opinion piece, it is a opinion piece. And I feel like that's where the fans get it messed up, is where like they are like, well, that's not it's like, it clearly says it's an opinion piece. If it's an opinion piece, you can write what you want. It's not slander. It's your opinion when you're being professional about it. She's written factual pieces. She's written pieces where there's also facts, and then she writes her piece at the bottom. And I feel like with writers like her, compared to a name I'm just going to throw out, multiple names that we all know. For people that are listening in Europe, we've heard of Taylor. We've heard, for people over here in the U.S., we've heard of Jeff Benjamin. We've heard of people like Tamar. Like, we've heard of those people that automatically they just believe what they say because they see they're a writer for Billboard. And, thank you for exposing our faves to American platforms and worldwide. But you have to respect these little writers. And I say little writers because there's people that literally write facts just as much as a Jeff Benjamin or a Taylor would, but not a lot of people believe them. So that's why a writer is on this podcast, because this is someone that is, as you heard her, she has a job. She's had a job. She's a damn well adult with her own mind. So that's also why she's on here, and I just appreciated her writing style. So yeah, that's all I wanted to add, is that she will, like, y'all will see people in her comments getting attacked all the time. Because we all have that doubt, like when you start getting attacked by certain things, or like you're like, now you like just have that second guess, because then you start to not really believe what people think, but you start being like, oh, like, damn, you're like, should I step back? And but you know what, to be honest, if you're on that platform and you're an adult and you can see like the cultural side, as well as, you know, where you physically live with your cultures, and like find a medium between writing, I feel like that's like really respectful, and that's honest, and that's not, you know, using groups just to get hit likes and stuff like that. Like, she'll write whatever she wants. She doesn't care. So that was Sherry's journey into K-pop and the Hallyu Wave. So next up, we have YouTuber aka Alejandro. He is, or Ale, if you hear us say Ale on this whole podcast, that's who we're talking to. So we're gonna have him up next introduce himself to the Sprinkle Podcast.
Hello everyone, my name's, like Emmy said, Alejandro. You can find me on YouTube as aka Alejandro. I am a YouTuber that kind of just does reactions and dance cover videos for now, because nursing school life is what I bring to the table as a YouTuber that's different, that sets me apart from the others, is that I usually like to keep things real and fresh, because I know that a lot of YouTubers like to censor themselves or censor some of the things that they say, or kind of sugarcoat things to like keep their viewership happy. But I feel like at the end of the day, everybody needs like the slap of reality that everybody's afraid to say. Like, it's like the elephant in the room that everybody's afraid to address, just out of the fear of losing subscribers or losing views or being attacked. Because we know that being attacked for your opinion is a very prominent thing on the internet nowadays. So I got into K-pop back in 2014 is when I officially got into K-pop. My first ever exposure to K-pop was back my sophomore year when Tumblr was a huge thing. And I visited somebody's blog, and it was just Digital Bounce by Seven playing. And I was like, okay, I can kind of get down to this. I didn't know it was K-pop though. And then fast forward a few years later, So You Think Can Dance had an episode of 21's I Am the Best, and I was just shaken by that song. I was like, oh my god, this is one of the best songs I've ever heard. I can't believe this is so revolutionary. Like, where have I been hiding? And at the time, I also mingled with K-dramas because I did Taekwondo, and my instructor was like, hey, I think it'd be really cool if you'd like watch some of these dramas. So I was like, okay. So one thing led to another. I searched up some of the actors from To the Beautiful You, aka Sully and Minho, and I saw that they were in groups, and I got really interested. So I went on iTunes and I searched up Sully's group, and the first song I heard from FX was Milk, and I knew like right then and there was no turning back. It was just a deep, dark hole of despair. And yeah, so I got more involved. I went on the internet, I searched up K-pop, like a K-pop community around me, and I found the South Florida K-pop group. Shout out to them. And I just feel like I've just made some really awesome friends that have really turned who I was as a person at the time around, and just made me a better person. And, you know, I can honestly call them my lifelong friends. Not because they're probably listening to what I'm saying right now, but, you know, they're just genuine people in this community, and I just feel like I can just be myself around them. And I just feel like K-pop really brought a brighter side to me. And yeah.
So that was Alejandro introducing himself, and he is on here because if his Twitter is linked down below, and it's self-explanatory why he's on here, because he's someone that will say his opinion no matter what, where, how, when, and why. Unpopular or not, he has no problem defending himself on Twitter. Not starting it, but defending himself on Twitter. So that's why he's on here, mainly because he has a different side, and he's also been Like he said, he has a community around him where there's multiple people. So he has, like, you know, a lot of us that are on these certain platforms or are not. We either have, like, you know, that one best friend, like Kaylee said that she had since high school, but a lot of us either have that one really close friend, or we have friends that are like so far away because we know them from social media. So he has like a community that's really around him that he gets to, you know, have those opinions right then and there. And it's easier to talk to someone like physically or on the phone, like audio wise, rather than like texting your feelings, because a lot of things can get misconstrued and blah, blah, blah. But he's someone that has people around him. Like immediately he has friends. He has like the choreography dancing down. I know none of us on here like dance like that on this podcast. So he's someone that kind of just has all areas. And he's also someone that is a girl group supporter. And I always like need to make sure that no matter what, like there's always that outlook on stuff, because so many of us always want to defend our boys and make sure our boys eat and our boys do this and our boys do that and our boys are amazing in this and that. But a lot of people and a lot of K-pop fans forget about the females, and that's something that I did for maybe like the first year and a half that I got into K-pop. But like this year, I'm like, oh, it's girls all the way. You know, I want to give them their shine, and Alejandro's done that for so long. So when we talk about topics on this podcast and stuff, like girl groups will be brought up as well, because they are definitely part of K-pop. Don't care what anyone says. So with that being said, I'm just gonna give my intro, and then we can get into our likes and dislikes of K-pop. Now, we have one that we're going to talk about, one like and one dislike. As we know, there's many for us as fans, but we're going to get to that a little bit later. For those of you listening right now, hi, my name is Imi. I am located on the northeast coast of America, and I got into the Hallyu wave through K-pop in 2015, although it's been in my life since 2003, but I didn't know, or it's not that I didn't know, I didn't pay attention or want to pay attention to it. So there's little stories here and there, but officially Me, Myself, and I, when Instagram back in 2015 had 15-second videos, and that's all that we were allowed to put up there. Viners were living and thriving. But I came across a 15-second K-pop video, which happened to be GOT7, Stop It, Stop It. And I don't know, I'm musically intuitive. Like, I just, like, music thrives me and makes me do things that I probably wouldn't do if I didn't have music. So 15 seconds of watching that music video sparked me to look up GOT7, and then I swore by GOT7 for maybe about the remainder of 2015. And then from that then on, a 15-second video really sparked my interest in watching YouTubers. I was a very huge supporter of K-pop YouTubers. I'm not anymore, besides a selected few, a very, very selected few. And we'll get into that maybe a little bit more as the podcast goes on. But yeah, through 15 seconds, I started my own radio show. I am Joy and Mag G Productions, LLC, the same company that Kaylee is with. And I started doing that in August of 2016. And I started writing for them. And then I upgraded a little bit as social media coordinator for them in 2017. And I've been doing a lot of background stuff for Mag G right now, but I'm getting ready to start writing more in the future. As you guys will know, we have monthly posts about the podcast written on Sherry's website, which will be down below, as well as myself as a writer down below. We just keep up. For those of you that may not have time to watch the whole podcast, we'll give you a little synopsis, so make sure you guys go and check out our links down below for that. And I don't know what I could say. That's pretty much how I got into K-pop. I'm fully invested. I'm someone that, not just into K-pop, but I watch dramas. I haven't watched American TV in now 3 years. If someone's saying the most recent show came out, I'm wondering if Happy Together uploaded their episodes on YouTube. I watch everything Korean now. I only speak, not saying I speak it, but I only hear the English language when I'm at work for 8 hours, and then I go home and it's all Korean, whether it's songs, TV shows, self-studying, because I'm teaching myself the Korean language. So I just wanted to be completely clear about this podcast, that when I talk about certain situations, this is someone that's gonna like stay in K-pop, it's not a phase for me. No matter what racial things I see, no matter what gender things I see, no matter any stuff that has to do with me as a person, because I know a lot of people I'm seeing are leaving K-pop because they feel like their culture isn't represented properly or blah, 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 blah. But I'm someone that's here for the long run and to change those things. So I just wanted to make that really for real clear that it's not a phase. I'm not going to sit here and be like, yeah, like K-pop for life is a lifestyle. Blah, blah, blah. I'm not going to be like that extreme and like turn you guys off. But it is something that when I talk about it, I talk about it seriously. And I'm always open for corrections. I'm always open to other opinions. I'm always open to stuff if you come correctly. And that's what this podcast is for, is just to really have a logical mindset about our likes and dislikes or our opinions. So that's where I come from. When I started my radio show, it's been since 2016. Coming up, actually, the second year by the time this is aired is today. So it's been 2 years on air, and I've met so many people and just had a really great time. And there's so many things about K-pop I could go on forever, but that's just my backstory. We can go forever about like whatever K-pop things I get into, what K-dramas I like, but we're not here for that. We're going to roll right on over to our likes and dislikes. So this is something that, as I said, we're gonna have one like and one dislike. This is gonna be like our strongest, like bar none, we wish we could like snap our fingers and change type of dislike. It could be us as K-pop fans that we don't like. It could be something in K-pop that we see that we don't like. It could be something about the fans that we don't like. Anything. So we're going to go back to the person that started the intros. Kaylee's gonna have her like and dislike, and she's gonna share it now.
Okay. I guess I kind of mentioned mine a little bit prematurely earlier. My main like for K-pop, similar to what Sherry said earlier, is that sense of community that you get between fans. When I started getting into K-pop in 2012, it was very difficult to find other people who were into K-pop as well, probably mostly because I didn't have a lot of social media accounts. My parents were super strict. They didn't let me have a Twitter. I secretly had a Tumblr that I posted a lot of emo stuff on. And, you know, there wasn't really, I had my best friend, Junkie. I had my best friend, and that was about it. Now, though, you can go onto Twitter, you can go onto Tumblr, on Instagram, you can add random people on Snap, and you'll see K-pop almost everywhere. You know, whether it's new people trying to get into K-pop or current fans trying to spread the love, you know, you just really see that everywhere. And it seems like those friends that you do make now, those people that you do meet who are into K-pop, if they're the right people, you know, if they're in it for the music, in it for the experience, and not just in it for the number and competition, you form quick bonds with those people, and you really do become friends with them, and you want to go to concerts and you want to travel and make sure they're doing okay. And I think it increases that desire to want to connect with people, especially if you're meeting them through social media and you don't live close. I don't have that community that I live close to here in Minnesota. You know, my best friends, the people that I enjoy K-pop with, live basically across the country at any point from me. They live across the country or across continents from me. Going a little bit further in that, though, with the more people you meet, it seems to be there seems to be a crazy collection of fan elitists out there, and that's my main dislike of K-pop. If I could change one thing, it would be the sense of elitism, the sense of entitlement that fans seem to have, whether it's power over other fans or whether it's this imaginary power over their idols. My main concern right now, my main thing that I would want to change is the fans that are out there acting like they're better than everyone else because of the groups that they support or because of how long that they're into K-pop. Amy is over here running a radio show and starting podcasts and is going to become a writer and write more articles. And she really got into K-pop in 2015. And there's no way in hell that I would ever claim I'm a better fan than you because I got into K-pop in 2012. You know, it's all about the passion that you have. And even if you are more passionate, it doesn't mean that you're better than another fan, you know? Mm-hmm. People that are out here saying,
oh, I bought this album, oh, I streamed this however many times on YouTube, oh, I support, you know, this group over this group, oh, I'm not multi-fandom, I stay loyal to this group. That's my favorite argument, is fans who are like, oh, I stay loyal to this group, and since you're multi-fandom, like, I'm a better fan than you, I'm more dedicated. Like, no, but that's not how it works. Sorry, you know, you can be multi-fandom. Not everybody has the money to buy albums. Not all the groups go to a country that fans are in. You know, it's not, you can't claim that you're better than one fan, A, for something else, for something that another fan can't help, and B, just because you think you have this opinion, you hold yourself to this, you know, this imaginary pedestal, you put yourself on this pedestal that you're better than somebody else because, you know, you've been into K-pop a year longer, a month longer, it doesn't even matter, or you support this group that won this award as opposed to this rookie group that's about to debut. And so if I could change one thing, it would really be that sense that fans have that they're better than another fan because of some arbitrary reason.
Clap. Oh my god. I definitely agree, and that's actually something that Sherry was just saying. So we're gonna roll on over to Sherry's like and dislike being in the Hallyu Wave or K-pop in general. But I definitely agree with what Kaylee said. That is like perfectly put. So Sherry, it's your turn.
Yeah, so I feel like I should maybe say another like, just so that I don't overlap with Kaylee. Is that okay? I
mean, yeah, you can do whatever. You can co-sign up for what she said, or it's different because you're in a whole different like continent than us, so you could do whatever you want.
Yeah, I definitely co-sign what Kaylee said, and we basically said along the lines of a lot of the same stuff. So I reckon that the way that things happen in Europe, I'm starting with the dislike. I co-sign her. So with the communal stuff, so yeah, I definitely agree with that. But what I'm going to say to change it up a bit is one other thing that I do like is the way that we get to see our favorite idols, artists, actors in terms of how you would see a Western artist. It's completely different. Like, they're exposed to you in like more ways than you could imagine, which is why I don't think that people who aren't into K-pop and kind of turn their nose down at you are like, oh, why do you care so much? Like, you don't know these people. Yeah, that's true, we don't. But for example, you've got V Live, that's like, you know, exploded. Like, if you want to see more of them, you can pay $2.99 a month or whatever, you know, like, you've got your V Lives, you've got your Twitter updates. Even some of the idols have their own personal social media accounts. You've got variety shows, that kind of thing. Whereas I think with the first and second generation artists, it was a bit different because social media wasn't so booming back then. But now I think it's almost in a way like you do know them, but you don't. Well, let's say you know their persona, you know? So that's what I do like. So moving on to the dislike, I'm going to change that too, just so we don't overlap. It's fetishism. So there's so many different factors with fetishism, but what I want to focus on, just because as I'm someone within this community, so I'd say K-music and black women. I'm sure everyone knows who that is. So I'm assuming this person is African American, just based on what I've heard, what I've seen. She kind of has this website, social media accounts, YouTube accounts where it's just fetish. Idols love black girls, blah, blah, blah. Then she has her minions who are taking in all of this crazy stuff. And they're like, oh my God, yeah, you inspired me to do this, blah, blah, blah. You know, I liked your video of GOT7 liking black girls. I saw that part where you slowed it down where you, girl, was looking at that girl, da-da-da. And then it kind of comes out of social media, and I've seen it a lot of black British girls, African American girls, black girls in general, going to Korea, acting a fool, being ridiculous, being thirsty, just putting Korean guys on a pedestal. Like, let's not say that Korean guys are bad and they're using you. Regardless, men and women, regardless of race, gender, ethnicity, whatever, there's good and bad and all. But when, you know, as a black female, when you go to Korea, you're kind of seen as a token black person. You know, it's like, oh wow, this is someone exotic. And if you're going to act a certain way and portray yourself a certain way, then people are going to think that they can treat you a certain way, and you just make the rest of us who go there to act cool, be normal, experience bad things because of how you act. So I've been approached and asked like, oh, do you want to go to a hotel? Not even hi. I'm gonna go to a hotel, and I'm like, sorry. Oh, well, your friend, you know, someone that I don't even know, another black person, another black girl I saw, you know, she was cool with that, and I'm just like, what? Like, and it's just ridiculous. Like, all over social media, all over Korea, like, it's just getting worse. And I know K-music and black women is not someone who everyone loves. Believe me, a lot of people don't rate her at all. But this whole encouragement, you know, of being a fool, like just making yourself look ridiculous, that's one thing that I just cannot stand. It's just ridiculous, and it's getting out of hand, and I think it's a lot of young impressionable girls that are lapping everything up. And I know that, well, I think it's the same for Americans, but as a British person, you can go to Korea for 3 months without a visa. So I know a lot of black girls in the British community go to Korea literally for 3 months at a time because they can, and it's just a mess. Like, it's a mess. I can't stand it. I've written an article on it, part 1, part 2, because I had a lot of stuff to express, and surprisingly I didn't get any backlash, which I thought I would. And you know why I didn't get backlash? Because it's the truth. even Miles J read it and commented. I was
Really?
Yeah, I was so surprised. I was like, oh my god. Like,
well, he recently made a video about, you know, 5 stages that you're like fed up with K-pop or something like that, and he was saying something to do.
But yeah, that's basically it. I could go on forever, but that's just one like major pet peeve. And I'm not saying, you know, oh, black girls, you know, we need, you know, it's just us. Like, of course, there's a lot of girls in all other races that, you know, fetish hard. But I'm just speaking personally, you know, from as myself as a black female, you know, like, it's just something that I see around myself, you know. So I'm speaking on behalf of myself. Okay. But yeah.
Okay. So it's like accounts that are supposed to be like, well, not I don't know if K-music and black women meant to establish the account as such, but some accounts that are like that, some that I do follow, like, for me, someone that's a logical person, I'm like, that's not serious. But the person behind the keyboard may not be serious. It may, you know, I feel like when you establish yourself as an account, you need to make it clear if you're a parody account, but not take jokes too far. Or and not be like as big and speak like when you get to that certain subscriber number or follower number, I feel like you need to make yourself established, and that's because it's social media, the world can see it, and you personally need to be like, okay, is this a joke account, not making fun of black girls or anybody. If Shonu my daddy, like daddy accounts, you know, like if you're gonna do stuff like that, some things are inappropriate based on the person that's behind the keyboard. It's like, are you establishing yourself to get that kind of attention, for more negative attention, or are you doing this because you're literally being like a joke? Like, it's just meant to make people laugh at the end of the day, but not laugh at a specific race or laugh at a certain culture, you know? So
it's not a joke with her.
Yeah, it's not.
She gets nasty. She gets very nasty. Like, I know someone who, like, she'll repost pictures of people who have met K-pop stars or whatever. And one girl, actually, a friend of a friend, said to her, "Can you please remove my picture?" I think she met Junho from iKON, if I'm even saying the name right. And she said, "Can you please remove my picture off your Instagram?" She got so nasty, and, you know, started saying really horrible things to the girl, and then she screenshot it and put it all over her Instagram story and was like, "Oh, this girl, she's ugly anyway, blah blah blah." When all she asked her to do was just please remove my picture. Like, even someone I know, like, was in one of her BAP black girl videos, and it's just like, stop. She's not joking, and I've heard she's like the same age as me. Like, it's ridiculous. But
So there's your tea for the day on the Sprinkle Podcast. Already name dropping, but yeah, that's definitely something that, you know, it just made me look differently, because I, as an adult, can tell the difference between a joke and not a joke, but kids can't. So on to Mr. Alejandro himself. Do you want to share a like and a dislike?
Yes, of course. A dislike first or a like first, because I feel like I have a lot on my mind. I think I'll start with a dislike just to end it on a positive note.
Okay.
let's see, a dislike that I dislike. I mean, I agree with all the dislikes that have been talked about, and I totally agree with all the dislikes. I feel like there is a lot of immaturity in the K-pop fandom right now, and a lot of fans are being very unnecessary and very hectic and very problematic. So I agree on that aspect. I also agree on the aspect that people who have platforms need to figure their life out. They need to figure out what their content is about. They need to figure out how to not be shitty human beings. And I guess I'll highlight a different aspect since I don't want to talk about the same things that have been talked about. One thing that I do dislike about the K-pop community right now is that a lot of people are reaching these platforms and are being very fake about it. I'm not going to name drop because I feel like it's a little too early. The tea isn't too hot right now for me. But maybe in the future I will get more into depth of like who I think about and what I think about them. But I feel like there's a lot of YouTubers in very high places that just have their platform because they have put on this mask and this face to kind of gather a following and a sort of viewership to, boost their views and get money off of YouTube and try to make their YouTube like a big income for them. So they put on this mask and this fictitious like attitude towards certain groups. I know everybody uses BTS for clout. Like everybody uses BTS for views. And as a YouTuber myself, I see the appeal and I see why people do that. And I'm not saying that there isn't anything wrong with using a group for views, but at least like the group. Like at least be genuine about it. Like don't force yourself to be something that you're not, because later on in your channel you're gonna say something, you're gonna slip up, or you're gonna do something in public at a public event, and people are gonna be like, oh, but that's not who you are online. Like, that's not what you said online. And it all comes back down to haunt you. I know that there's a lot of tea going on right now in the K-pop community because of the BBMAs and BTS performing. And I know that a certain YouTuber, I think I'm going to name drop because at this point, the tea is so piping on Twitter that if you just go and search up BBMAs and BTS, you'll see it. The Just Life. Yeah, the Just Life put herself in a very uncomfortable situation, which I honestly, personally, in my own opinion, don't believe that she should have. And, the K-pop, not K-pop community, but more armies, per se, came after her like there is no tomorrow. I feel like she's trying to salvage it as much as possible, but at the same time, she's feeding too much into the fire. And, I get that you made a video that you don't want to deal with the K-pop fandom anymore, that you're not considered an army because you think armies are very immature. And I know that you're speaking about a certain type of armies, and maybe you didn't make yourself clear about that. But at the same time, in your video, you said that you did, K-pop reactions don't require talent, which I agree that they don't. But at the same time, you're making it seem like it's so you're making it seem like K-pop reactions are like derogatory. Like why are you guys watching these K-pop reactions? Like, why are you guys watching these reactors? And I feel like some people find like solace in reactions. Like they find like an online persona to make their friend, that they can really trust in, and then you turn around and you're this completely different person, and then they kind of feel betrayed. And I feel like that's what happened in this situation. Like, you have to be 100% with your viewership. It doesn't matter if you get 3 views, if you get 3,000, if you get 3 million. As long as you're genuine, I feel like people will come back and watch you because you're just truly genuine about who you are and your passions and your view on K-pop. And that's what people really want to see. People don't want to see, oh, but they're just fake. I don't want to watch them anymore. Because then that's how you really lose followers. I'd rather be real and people know that I don't like certain things, or I don't like certain comebacks, or I don't like certain songs, than drag me all over Twitter. But anyways, moving on to something less spicy. K-pop community is just, it can also be, on top of being very toxic, it can also be very loving. And, you find the right group of people and you make these really special connections with them. And, it can take you really far. And it doesn't have to be restricted inside of K-pop. Yeah, having, friends to talk to K-pop about with is fine, but you make these friends inside the K-pop community. Like my best friend Anna, my best friend Rachel, Gabby, we, on top of K-pop, we talk about other things in life. Like, we're always there to support each other no matter what we do in our journeys. If we want to tattoo a dick across our forehead, we can do it. And I'm like, hey, that's not a smart idea. But if I go ahead and do it anyways, it'd be like, you know what, you're still my friend. You're stupid, but, you still did it, and I'm still your friend, and I'm here to support you. And you go through these hardships and these struggles, and, they love you at the end of the day. And I feel like making those very special connections within the K-pop community is what makes K-pop such an interesting and such a beautiful trip to be in. And yeah, and even, when you like K-pop, you're open with opportunities and just, very life-changing experiences for the better and for the worse, you know. And yeah, that's my like.
I love how you just did that huge thing at Tia. Like, that's my like, rainbows and butterflies and Powerpuff Girls and yes. So we will be, the reason why the rest of us, while one person talks, are so quiet is because we're getting our solo time on this first pilot episode, if you will, so that you guys can get to know us better. We are also, the point of the podcast is to have like-minded people together, but that doesn't mean we all have to agree on certain specific situations or people or K-pop group or anything. So as we further go on, we will all be either co-signing or not signing on our each individual likes and dislikes. So you guys can look forward to that in the episodes to come. I know you guys here are saying we could go on forever, but that's what the future of the next episodes are for, is because we are going to go on forever for our personal likes and dislikes, and the rest of us can chime in. So that's what Alejandro was saying. Basically, he is, as we said, someone that has been a YouTuber for a while and knows YouTubers personally. So that's his thing, is that he can tell, you know, the real and fake and what social media can do. And everyone is here saying that K-pop is such, the friends and people that you find is such a great community beyond just listening to the music. So I think I'm gonna do my like first. And I think for me, for K-pop in general, just because I really do appreciate and live and love music of all type of genres. And I know a lot of people say that and they're like, oh, but country. Like, I'm someone that still likes country, surprisingly. But I literally do like all genres of music. So one of my likes is the production value and hard work from everyone, from the idols, from their managers, from the CEOs, from the staff, the people that shoot their music videos. Even though like some people may be mean in fan clubs, there are some really good fan club leaders that are the promotion for their groups when there's no money for promotion of the company of some of these groups. So I do respect the production value and the hard work that goes into the genre as a whole. It's very intriguing to me because I'm someone that, regardless of whether I was a radio DJ of a K-pop show, I would have been a radio DJ of something anyway. I would have either been a tour manager. I wanted to do something in music regardless. So I am someone that loves the behind the scenes at every angle. It's not just a 3-minute song for me. Like, there's stuff that went into it and I want to know about those things. Like, I'm curious and intrigued, and that's one of my likes, is just the production value and the whole package. Back to what Sherry was saying, how, you know, there's V-Live, there's personal reality shows, like there's different things that we get to see and different accesses that we get to our idols, which sometimes can be a good or a bad thing for the idol personally themselves, but it's something as a fan and someone that, you know, wants to learn about like the PDs and people that write the scripts and stuff like that. Like it's something that's intriguing to me, is just the genre itself and the production value and the things that they do with their music. So that's one like for me. I was gonna say, I wrote community friends and I found people who bring me happiness. That's what I wrote, but that's pretty much what everyone just said. So I had crossed that out actually last week, a while ago. I'm like, you know, we're already all gonna say that, and that's why we're here. That's why we're taking our time to create such a podcast as such. So I just said production value and hard work. A dislike, I think I'm going to change this one too, but it's not because of what other people are saying. A dislike for me as a fan is it's the pricing of concerts and the pricing and the accessibility that we have as international fans to the idols versus the price. It's a problem. And it's something that I feel like it's just a dollar bill value for these companies. Yeah, maybe the idols may like us and love us, maybe not to the same standard as their Korean fans, because we don't hold power in Korea like that, the way that some K fans do. And yes, K fans do hold power, if not damn near run a group, depending on their popularity. So, in my opinion. So, I really am upset that we don't get the same options. Mainly some reasons are because we don't speak the same language, because our ticketing processes are different. because we are viewed, not just people of different skin colors, but people that aren't used to the Korean fan culture. We're treated differently because we don't know their fan culture. We're not given the same opportunities for those things. We are priced at the same price for if we were to sit down and buy gifts for them that aren't poisoned, because we're not going to sit here and buy food and stand in a line and wait 12 hours to see you. 12 hours, not even to see you, but to just hit your hand for over $100, okay? Like, it's the thing is that don't abuse. I just don't like that we as K-pop fans, our love is being abused. And it's coming at the cost of a paycheck or your mom's rent or your gas money or your ability to buy an album and support instead of going to see them, or, the price of another hotel room just to touch an idol's hand is unfair for international fans. I'm really disgusted and fed up with it. And I can speak on it because I'm someone that has bought resale. I'm someone that's had a P1. I'm someone that's had a P2. I'm someone that's waited in line. I'm someone that has traveled over state lines to see my faves. So when I speak on this, I'm not speaking from a behind the keyboard Twitter standpoint of a 15-year-old that has never gone, okay? So this is someone that has done it before. So I could talk on it because I've done it, and I've had such a beneficial year. 2017 was such a beneficial year for me as a fan. But now I'm stepping back and I'm looking at price-wise. I'm someone like Sherry that works a regular full-time job. That's also my business for how much money I spend on events, but I'm finding that maybe it's not totally worth it, or there are different ways to support my groups and myself as an international K-pop fan. So that's my dislike, is that y'all be charging us the whole price of a red bottom, okay, to touch someone's hand. You know what I'm saying? So that's my problem. That's it. Okay, guys, so this is the only segment that we want to have on the podcast. We want to keep the talking all free and flowing for the first half up until the end. And this is something that is going to be the only segment that's on here. We're going to call it Shots Sprinkled, kind of along the lines of Shots Fired. It's kind of like when you say unpopular opinions. They're kind of like one-liners that may leave you speechless. We're not going to weigh in on them. We're not going to describe how we feel about them. It's just what we see as our opinions, borderline facts to some of us. So we're going to have Alejandro kick it off. This is Shots Sprinkled.
Okay, well, first of all, there's nothing special about BTS that sets them apart from other groups. Another one, Twice isn't overrated. They're just really popular. If you feel like you're overrated, you're probably wrong, and you probably hate them for no reason. What's another one? The sexy concept is very empowering and very forward, and if you're scared and if you're put off by the sexy concept, then maybe you should close your eyes. No, I feel like that's enough tea for right now.
Okay, and then up next we have, I'm gonna do Kaylee.
All right, KCON tickets are not overpriced. Just because you go doesn't mean you have to buy a diamond ticket. K-pop and BTS specifically is not the same. If you're sitting here trying to convince yourself that K-pop is the same as it was 3, 4, 5 years ago, you're delusional. You need to reevaluate your music taste. Groups are choosing popularity for fans over their substance and quality of music, and as a result, the genre is suffering. And finally, K-pop YouTubers or reactioners really are not all that, and you guys need to stop putting them on a pedestal.
Oh my god, okay, the way I'm gonna edit this is gonna be so funny. But okay, up next, I'm loving this. Up next is Sherry for Shots Sprinkled.
Okay. Jackson, Mark, and Bam Bam cannot rap. I'm sorry. Oh my god. But, GOT7 are good at what they do, but that's what I'm gonna say. Kihyun needs to eat some cheeseburgers because it's not cute. I love him, but he's so happy with his weight loss, but he needs to eat. And Alejandro, I'm really sorry, but Twice, they're a gimmick, and their title tracks are the only decent songs they probably make. I'm just going to say that. GOT7 need to leave JYP. If not, JB needs to leave JYP. And no, that's it.
Yo, I'm dead.
Oh my god!
The thing is, I want to elaborate, but obviously that's besides the point. We're not supposed to. So obviously people are gonna think, oh, she hates GOT7. I love GOT7. I love Monster X. but I'm just gonna be honest, okay?
Okay, so for my shot sprinkled, I have 101 is the definition of overhyped in K-pop, and most of the reason why K-pop is changing, is forever going to be changed. I've been waiting for their disbandment since debut. And then we have GOT7 has not had a great album, top to bottom, no skips, since 2016, and we are in 2018, folks. Next one, YG trainees are probably the most ridiculous trainees in all of K-pop in South Korea, because why would you be in that entertainment company training when you know you're going to be 30 by the time you debut, or close to it, and then YG's going to throw you away? And you better not have a mental health problem, because then you're going to be tossed to the side. And then we have, this is me personally, are you really a true 100% K-pop fan if you only like and stan and pay attention and know their blood types and their birth dates, just specific boy groups and no girl groups whatsoever? I'm not talking about Blackpink, I'm not talking about Mamamoo, I'm not talking about 21. Those ones are in that boy group category because they rap and do other ungirl group things. And I'm done. That is shot sprinkled, guys, and that is it. That's a wrap. We're not gonna comment on it or weigh in on it or disagree or agree. This is just something that is our opinions, and they're unpopular to some people. Well, the majority of K-pop fans. I was laughing. I was just telling Kaylee and Sherry that we're laughing every time behind the mic because it's just so extreme.
Because obviously we've not elaborated, and we're just hearing each other's shots, and we're just like.
That's the point. It's just supposed to be triggering.
Yeah.
It's a triggering segment. I forgot to say that at the beginning, but that's kind of the point of the title. It's shot sprinkled. That's the point. And that's it. We're not going to elaborate on it. We're not going to say anything about it. We may in future podcasts, or if you comment in the comments something ignorant below, that leaves it up to the people on here with their YouTube accounts to reply. But that's shot sprinkled, and that is the segment that will keep coming and triggering you on the Sprinkle podcast. And that is all that we have time for you guys on this podcast, so let us know. You know, we're on YouTube. You can comment what parts you like, what maybe more that you want to see. Up in the next episode, you guys can, as I said, get ready to hear our likes and dislikes more in a huge, under a magnifying glass. And make sure you all check us out. Our social medias are all below. Subscribe to Alejandro's YouTube channel. Go check out Sherry's website. Make sure to please go and check out Kaylee's writing segment that she's doing on MacG Magazine. We will be everywhere on our social media posting stuff. Make sure you go and spread it to your friends. And yeah, we'll always keep it real here on the Sprinkle podcast. This has been
Alejandro,
Emmy,
Kaylee,
And Shari.
Woo! The Sprinkle podcast pilot episode is over. Yay! Bye, guys.
Bye.
bye.
goodbye.
Bye.